Hello, Mr. Stark. Thank you very much for your time. It is a pleasure to meet with you, and I hope I get the opportunity to meet with you in person. I want to learn about your life and share your life experiences through VFS, Volunteer for Seniors story blog. I'm certain that your life journey will inspire others, including fellow seniors and young adults like us. So my first question for you is, could you tell me about your childhood and where you grew up?
I grew up in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. My family was middle-class family. My father was an attorney, and my mother stayed home to take care of the kids. Uh, in my day and age, we walked to school by ourselves in all kinds of weather. We played outside. We knew all of our neighbors, and we never locked our doors. It was a wonderful way to grow up.
Can you share more about your family and friends, and how did you meet Miss Stark, your wife?
Uh, when I was 10 years old, my parents sent me to day camp. It was an overnight camp for 8 weeks. And my wife's parents also sent her and her siblings to the same camp. And that's where we met. My friends were typical friends of young kids, people I played ball with on the street. I was very active in sports at that time. And didn't really get to know my wife until I was 12. And when I was 15, I ventured out and took her on a date. We went by trolley car into town and saw a movie and came back. And then I didn't see very much of her again until we were in college. We both attended Penn State University, and I met her when she first came up. And it's been that way ever since, 69, 70 years ago.
Yeah, could you share some special memories about your childhood, your youth, or in life in general?
Uh, my childhood at that time was uh, evolved mostly about uh, being involved in sports with my friends. I went to school because I had to. I was not a great student. I was a good problem solver. Uh, but life for me at that time was literally a big game. Uh, I was not as serious as some might be, or some might have liked me to be, but that was my personality.
And if you are comfortable sharing, could you tell us more about your career or professional life as well as your adult life?
After I graduated college,
Yeah.
I had been accepted into Temple University Law School. But before I started that, uh, my father-in-law, since we had been married just before that, offered me a job in his business, which was a steel fabricating business where they manufactured structural steel tubing. And I went to work for him, thinking that it was a good opportunity for me to move forward in life and provide well for my wife and future children. I enjoyed the work, but didn't really enjoy the relationship that had developed between my father-in-law and myself. And that only progressed year after year. And while my wife and I all often talked about my leaving the business and doing something else, we both knew that if I did, my father-in-law probably would not speak to us again. Yeah. So I stayed for preservation of the family ties. I was extremely instrumental in developing many cost-saving projects in the company, as well as structurally redefining how we inventoried the products and handled it for shipping purposes. At the same time, as a result of all those changes, we more than doubled the available space on the floor by virtue of the fact that the changes made this possible because of the way we were handling the material. Eventually, I was promoted to Vice President of Sales and Marketing, where I spent a great deal of time visiting major manufacturers and steel service centers to improve the relationship we had with them. When I was in Philadelphia, or I should say when I left the Philadelphia plant to take a position in our Chicago operation, our annual sales were about $6 million a year. When I left the Chicago operation, our annual sales were $86 million a year. So I would like to think that I had something to do with that success. It's not all one person, like any good company or athletic team. It takes a team to make things work.
Yeah.
We're very lucky. The people who were our representatives out in the field across the country took me to visit the key personnel in all of these places. And we developed relationships over the years that at that time were unique. We went through steel strikes and steel shortages and OSHA implementing regulations on the public that drastically affected people in our industry. The relationships were so unique that I still have letters today from some of the people we sold to who said, all factors being equal or even close, we were to receive 100% of their orders during the steel shortages. That's never been done. So I guess somebody was looking down on me and held my hand through all this so that we did the right thing. And that's always been a driving force in the way that I lived, meaning that you have to develop relationships and deal with honesty, integrity, and when you give your word, keep it.
Yeah, that's great advice. I've also learned that you visited different places, and that experience helped you to support our community and people in need. It would be great if you could tell us which places you've traveled to and how it changed your perspective.
Oh, wow. We also owned several travel agencies.
Yeah.
And as a result of that, we were frequently en route to different world destinations, which taught me that travel is the best educator of all. You learn from different people, different cultures, different environments, and how it reflects on us and the way that we live. I became particularly enthralled with Africa, where we took Michelle on my 70th birthday, and where she started Batanya's Hope. The other bright spot in my life was working very closely with Israel and many of the top officials in the government for many, many years.
Yeah, and additionally, how have you supported different great causes in the past and currently?
With my mouth, by speaking to others, by not being afraid to tell the truth. Often in this day and age, there are a lot of people who, through misconception or flat out lying, want to sell their conspiracy theories and their own ideas about how life should be. And we fought against it. We championed our way of life. We championed giving back to others, to helping others get on their feet and do for themselves more than just a charitable thing. It was an ongoing drive that allowed us to promote and help and support others so that they could be on their own and eventually do the same thing.
You've also had COPD and other serious health complications, and in spite of that, you kept a very good outlook. What keeps you going each day? And do you have any message for fellow seniors, including my grandfather, who is your age? He's 87 years old.
Well, you got two choices in life. You can live or you can die.
Yeah.
You can bemoan all your illnesses, or you can just keep moving forward and enjoy all that you have. When you reach a certain point in life, certain age, certain time, your body begins to tell you you're not in charge anymore. And you can deal with illness and infirmity either by saying, woe is me, and complaining all the time. We can keep moving forward and treating each day as a treasure. I choose the latter. Complaining is a waste of time and energy.
Yeah. And my last question for you is, What other message do you have for my generation, Gen Z, and what can we learn from your experiences in life?
Well, I'm not sure what you can learn from my experiences from life because you have to be the judge of what you do.
Yeah.
You have to feel the need to do it. But I will tell you, after 88 years, it is definitely much more gratifying to give than receive.
Yeah.
And as a result, you will receive far more than you ever envisioned. So just keep at it, keep doing what you think is right, and don't be afraid to speak out.
Yeah, so that's all my questions. Thank you very much, Mr. Stark, for your time and allowing me to interview you. I've learned a lot from your experiences, and and I definitely took away something from our interview with you. Do you have anything else to add on, or Miss Stark, do you have anything else to add on before I conclude the interview?
Keep up the good work. We need people like you to keep moving forward.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I would just ratify what my dad said about um, doing whatever you do with passion and belief. Don't be afraid to stand up for what you think is right, even when most of the world is against that. It's not important to go along with the flow of what's popular. It's important to go along with what's right and what's kind. Because in the end, it's all about you and what you've created. Yeah, it's about what you create in your life. And for my dad, I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot from him as a role model, and I'm really grateful.